All right. Yeah, you're very much welcome again today. It's Saturday, so we'll quickly do some things here on this channel again. If you are just joining in or you're joining this for the first time, I want to say you are very much welcome. If you have not subscribed, first thing you should do, subscribe to this channel so that you can get updates every time I come out live. All right, so we've been talking in the past few weeks a lot of things that has come up from the United States perspective, a lot of restriction that has been placed on Nigerians and some other countries in various forms. I think in the last video we really dived deep into that, and I was saying then that I'm not sure when all this will be lifted or what's going to happen. So today I just want to go in a direction I've not gone before or that I'm not known to go for. This is the UK. This is the UK. Out studying graduate studies in the UK. What should you do? How to go about it? All right. The first thing, of course, you know or you have to know is that studying in the UK is not like in the US. In the US, I've always mentioned it to you that in the US you have a lot of universities, and which all of the universities or most of them offering a form of scholarship, a form of assistantship, one form or the other. But in the UK, the situation is not like that because of the number of universities, first and foremost. And of course, aside that, there are some positives we can take, and we'll look at some of those positives so that you can make your decision if you will go into the UK or study in the UK or not. Great courses, great universities. When you look at the best universities in the world, you always find the first 10 is a mix of US, UK, then maybe one or two from different other countries. So great universities, great course you will find in the UK too. But generally, let me just talk about the scholarships that they have in the UK so that you know that there are also scholarships in the UK. And you might have seen people talk about it on social media, or you have friends who have won some of these scholarships before. So there are some of the scholarships that exist in the UK. Number one, Chevening Scholarship is one prestigious scholarship that people go for. It covers a 1 year master's degree at any UK universities. I think it's for TOTS program. I'm not sure, you can search for that yourself. Chevening Scholarship, Chevening. Chevening Scholarship. You can check that yourself. I think it's for 1 year. Another good scholarship is a Commonwealth Scholarship. This is for people in the who are part of the Commonwealth countries. Nigeria is part of the Commonwealth countries. So definitely, if you fall into that category, you can go for Commonwealth Scholarship. People are able to go and study for masters and PhD. Usually, the process for Commonwealth Scholarship usually involve being nominated by your country, either by university or embassy or some. There are some of those processes that are involved. But there's another type of Commonwealth Scholarship which is called Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Now, this does not involve nomination from your home country and all of these things. You can apply directly yourself. Okay, so basically, these are the two major scholarships that are generally available in the UK on a broad scope. The third one would be Erasmus Mundus, which is not just UK, it's the European countries plus UK that is also available. Of course, all of these scholarships are very competitive, very competitive. Aside all these, some of their universities also do the same thing that universities in the US do. And I have a little, just some list here. Of course, number one, which is very popular, everyone knows the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. It's from anyone applicant outside of the UK who want to pursue any postgraduate degree at the University of Cambridge. Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Read more about it. Look at the application process, what it takes, what you will know to do. Of course, they are competitive, but if you are very competitive too, you are very good too. It's something you can go for. Another one is the Rhodes Scholarship. It's also very popular for University of Oxford. Okay, it covers tuition and stipend for postgraduate students who want to study at the University of Oxford. So you can definitely go for it. So it's something you can go for. University of Oxford Rhodes Scholarship. Okay, of course, and also in University of Oxford, there is a Clarendon scholarships, and then aside these big scholarships that are fully funded, each of the universities have their own, not each, many of or some of the universities also have their own scholarships which they give out, which may not be fully funded. So what this means is that eventually you still prepare to spend some amount of money. Okay, now in US we are used to a situation where, oh, it's fully funded, everything is funded, your stipend, everything funded, and then bill, you just do your visa, flight, and the likes, and then you move. But in many of these schools in the UK, the scholarship may just come as, oh, they are taking care of £5,000 for you. Oh, they are taking care of, out of your tuition of 15K, they are taking care of 6,000. So you are left with 9,000 to pay. The scholarship may come in the form of, oh, you've spent 1 year, or they're able to give bursary to some students, and then you were so lucky to be among those who were able to receive the bursary. It's also very possible. But let's back up a bit. What is the process for the universities in UK? Generally, admission is easier in for universities in UK than US. Okay, majorly because, of course, the funding may not necessarily come with the what do you call it now, with the application, with the congratulation letter that they will send you, with the offer letter that they'll be sending you. There will be no, you won't see scholarship, except it's some of this Rhodes Scholarship, or the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Okay, so when the admission comes, the first thing they will ask to do is to pay a deposit. So let's say the tuition comes from the university, and then let's say the tuition is the admission comes from the university admission letter. They tell you what the fee is, let's say 20K. They usually ask you to pay a deposit, okay, before you leave your home country. In fact, it will be some of those things that will lead to you processing your visa and the likes. So you pay a deposit. Sometimes some schools say pay a deposit of 4,000, 3,000, 5,000, depending on your tuition fee. So you pay that deposit. And many schools, when you get on campus in the UK, when you start your work, many schools will have a payment plan by which students can be able to pay the remaining tuition. Okay, so you have a payment plan. Let's say your tuition is 15,000. Then we ask you to pay after. Let's say you have paid 15,000. You've paid 5,000 deposit, and then they will ask you to pay the remaining amount instrumentally, maybe 4 times, 3 times, 6 times, 5 times, depending on the school. Some will say pay monthly, some will say pay every 3 months or every 2 months, because some of the masters are just 1 year, so you have to pay within that time. And there are some masters that are 2 years. Okay, some schools they have their masters as 2 years, or the master's program that you are going for maybe 2 years in some schools. So there is also that installment payment option, which is what many people who go to the UK do. And I just thought about it that it's possible there are people who can do it, especially in a situation where the situation we've seen a lot of people thrive is when they go as family. Maybe it's a recently UK stopped giving dependent visa for master's program or any program that is not research based. That is, if it's just an MSc, which is just a thought program, no research involved, you won't be able to go with dependent. But if it's research based or it's a PhD, you're able to go with dependent. So in that situation, they allow at least a person who is a student to work 20 hours, which is the same thing in US, right? And the difference is your dependent in the UK can work. In the US, your dependent cannot work. Okay, it's against the law for your dependent to work. But in the UK, your dependent can work full hour, full time. So what a lot of people have been able to do is that, while after they've paid their what do you call it now, deposits, they have a proof of fund somewhere which they're able to say, oh, we'll be able to pay this tuition. The family sustains themselves again by the wife working the 20 hours and the husband working the 40 hours, or the husband working the 20 hours if the husband is a student, and the wife working 40 hours, and they support each other and they're able to make things work. And that's how a lot of people make things work out. For those who are single, of course, the only person who will be able to work is the person, is a student. So you have 20 hours to work. That means you need something to sustain you if that 20 hours is not enough to cover your needs. That's why it's, of course, a bit tricky, difficult for a lot of people, but people weather through it, people go through it and still come out and succeed, and then they are able to get a job that sponsors them, and they're able to stay over and continue doing their things, earning money and sort their bills out and all of those things. But now, aside this, when you get on campus, each of those universities, in fact, each department, it is possible that they have some form of scholarships for international students. Okay. When they have such form of scholarship that may say, oh, 5,000 this grant, it's something beautiful that you can apply for. Imagine if 5,000, you've paid 5,000 before out of 15K, somebody helps you to cover 5,000, you are left with 10,000. It reduces the burden. So some of the scholarship are there in some of these schools, and there's something you can actually go for. I think I was looking at some scholarships. I was looking at some schools earlier, and saying some of the scholarships there uh, that you can okay, Rhodes University of Warwick, for example. One of the things University of Warwick has is they have a scholarship that can offer up to £10,000. Up to £10,000. Okay, if that is taken out of your tuition, and we have some schools, in some schools, that will say, okay, for international students, the scholarship we're offering them is that they won't pay international fee. We allow them to pay home fee. Those who are UK citizens or residents or something like that, we allow them to pay such fee. University of Reading, for example, there is what they call NSOC scholarship that offers a tuition fee discount. These are some of the things you can benefit from when you study in some of those schools. So when you are looking out for schools to choose in the UK, if we'll be choosing the UK, try and search the scholarships that they have too. Yeah, you'll be paying your deposit to pay all these things, but these scholarships will still help you when you get to the UK eventually, because oh, you are able to have good CGPA, you are doing well in your studies, you are doing this and that. There are scholarships that you can go for. There are scholarships that you can go for. But overall, if you ask people there, it's very possible to say from afar and say that, oh, when you, especially when you are from the United States and you see how things run, fully funded, almost everyone that are international students, stipend, all those things coming in, and you look at UK, it's like, oh, that place is tough. Again, people are living it, right? The 20 hours that students in the United States have to work, they're already doing it as teaching assistants or research assistants or whatever they are doing. So you don't have the luxury of working outside again. But those in the UK, they have the luxury of choosing the work they can do outside. That's why it's possible for you to see on social media a lot of UK students, UK international students saying they are working, they are doing this, they are doing that. So these are some of the things you can go for if you are interested in studying in the UK. You can go for it. I just said I should mention it. I know it's not what I usually do. It's not what I usually talk about. I love talking about the United States, but for now, with all these restrictions, we just have to start looking at different other places that people can go. I've been talking a lot about Canada on my timeline on Twitter. I've shared some Canadian schools that people can apply for, different courses that people can apply for. I mean, these days I also start looking out for some UK schools, some of those little scholarship, £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 that people can benefit from. If that one goes away from your tuition fee, you see that it's not really little like that as we say them. All right, all right, all right. For those of you stayed, so thank you for staying. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I won't let it be more than 15 minutes today. And you can always share this with someone who is considering UK because of all these things going on with the United States for Nigerians. As international student, you can share it with someone who is looking out for UK. All right, let me see if there's any question before I sign out quickly. If there are no questions, I think uh, we can end this stream here. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining in. God bless you. Real good, real good, real good.